Good morning, Comet Nation. I'm Aiden Chandler.
And you're watching the Comet News Network and the Comet Weekly, bringing you all the exciting updates from around our school. We want to prepare everyone now. Our next show will be the last before the end of school.
Monday, May 19th will be the grand finale of the inaugural season of the Comet Weekly. Hadley, are you prepared for that?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it right now. I just get into this week's show. Some of our FFA members and Mr. Davies started their week with the state convention. There were over 200 schools there.
We're in Tulsa at the BOK Center at the 99th Annual State FFA Convention, and we've had a chance to catch up with Velma FFA Advisor Jamie Davies. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Davies. Okay, so I have a few questions for you. How has this week of state convention been?
It's been good. Good. Lots of walking, lots of rain, and a good week.
What was a highlight of convention?
I'd say the highlight was definitely last night when Mr. Boyd Ely got to receive his honorary state FFA degree.
Yes, for sure. And what are some of the projects of Velma FFA?
Several shop projects we're trying to get finished up by the end of school here. Just finished some public speaking, creed speakers. Some of that was just wrapped up the past week or so.
And lastly, when is the season-ending banquet to wrap things up?
Banquet is going to be Monday, this coming Monday, May 12th at 6:30 in the gym.
All right, thank you for your time today. Now back to you in the studio.
Today is the Student Council and Class Representative election. Good luck to the candidates. Students, don't forget to look at your Gmail to cast your votes, and we will let you know on our last episode who has won. Here's a list of the upcoming banquets and ceremonies. You can always check the Velma Public Schools Facebook page for upcoming times and dates.
With May and the end of school here, field trips are finally here. Wednesday, our second grade went to the OKC Zoo. Hey, Chandler, I nominate you for the 100 Men versus 1 Gorilla Challenge.
Hadley, what are you even talking about, bro? What are you yapping about?
Anywho, today's the first grade is skating in Duncan, and the fourth grade are at the Goddard Center in Sulphur. Next Thursday is Breakfast with Beauties in the elementary, and on the 13th, the third graders will be skating in Duncan. Don't fall on your face like I do when I skate.
And now it's time for Comet Legacy, where our reporter Riley Quinn sits down with alumni from Velma.
Today, Riley sits down with Dr. Tina Dickerson.
Ms. Dickerson, thank you for spending a little time with us. First off, what year did you graduate from Velma, and what have you been up to over the years?
I graduated in 94, and I went to college, and then medical school and residency, and I've been practicing medicine in Edmond since then.
Growing up, did you want to become an imaging physician?
No, I wanted to be a number of different things growing up, and physician wasn't one of them I even considered, maybe until late high school, but I went to college thinking I was either going to coach or go to med school, and coaching seemed too hard, so I went to med school.
Where did you attend college?
I went to Northeastern State in Tahlequah.
What are some of your fondest memories at Velma?
Mr. Spigner told me this was going to be a question, and I tried to think of some that wouldn't implicate your principal in some way and reflect poorly on her, because we did some pretty dumb stuff growing up. So I tried to think of a good one, but really we did a lot of dumb stuff. So one of the things I was thinking about is so our boys played in the state championship game for football when I was a senior, and I drove a Geostorm, which they don't even make anymore, but it's this tiny little hatchback. And as the boys were leaving for the game, we had this huge town pep rally and a parade leading them out of town. And so we shoved the entire basketball team into my hatchback, girls basketball team. So there was somewhere between 13 and 16 girls in that car, hanging out the window in the back of the hatchback and everything. We passed the butt. We acted like a bunch of idiots. And it was just things like that over and over again. And so, I was born and raised in Velma, so every memory I have of childhood is in that town kind of thing. So lots of good ones.
Mrs. Corey said she can beat you in a game of one-on-one. What do you have to say to that?
Oh, that's what I gotta say about that. Big laugh. Oh man, that's fun. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've played basketball, so that sounds like something she'd say, though. I love it. She's honestly, she's probably a much better defensive player than I am. I'll give her that. So,
Finally, what is the best advice you have for Comet students?
whew, that was a hard one too, because I'm old and I've made a lot of mistakes, and that leads to a lot of advice you like to give out to people about how they could do things better. And so I try to narrow it down. And I would think two big ones are don't ever limit yourself because of where you grew up, you know? So I found myself being intimidated a lot of times, like, oh, these guys went to big 5A, 6A schools, they went to private schools, they had all this education. And, you know, I went and played college basketball, and I held my own against those guys, and I went to medical school, and I held my own there. And I was very surprised at the education that I got at Velma. And for instance, so there was one time I was doing this medical mission trip in South Sudan, Africa, and I'm in the middle of a field surrounded by something that looks like National Geographic, and I thought to myself, like, man, how did a dumb kid from Valma get here? What an experience. And it's just, don't ever limit yourself, because there's absolutely no reason for you to do so. And on the flip side of that, don't forget where you come from, because that community is full of loving, hardworking people that will keep you rooted and humble, and just don't let go of that.
Thank you, Ms. Dickerson, for doing this and shine on.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you could still order a Comet Cheer t-shirt and support your Comet Cheer team. And this week, the Comet Cheer team is still flocking yards if you'd like to flock a friend's house. Contact a Velma High School cheerleader.
The Quad Squad is still working hard on our TikTok page. They are off this week working on a grand finale for the final show of our TikTok page. And while you're there, go ahead and smash that follow button, and you can see all the fun and entertaining TikToks the girls have made.
This week, during the Monday morning blast-off in the elementary, they introduced the word of the week. This week's word is empathy. Before we go to weather and sports, here's a look at this week's Comet Kids.
Hello, welcome back to your Comet Weekly Weather. Today expect a high of 70 degrees with a 25% chance of rain and a south-southwest wind at 16 miles an hour. It's still probably going to be a little muddy and cloudy today due to rains all throughout last week. Man, that's the first. As you can see, we're not having any rain for the next week. Thank you. Saturday, expect a high of 71 and a low of 49 with a south-southwest 10 miles per hour winds. Sunday, expect a high of 71 and a low of 50 with south-southwest winds at 5 miles an hour. Monday, expect north-northwest winds at 9 miles an hour, 75 degrees at the highest, 59 at the lowest. Tuesday, expect north-northwest winds again, 17 miles per hour, the high of 81 and a low of 64. And Wednesday, expect a north-northeast wind at 15 miles an hour with a high of 84 degrees and a low of 64. Can I go home now?
The girls golf team competed at the state tournament on Tuesday and were in fourth place with 1 day to go, but due to the rainy weather, they had to cut the second day short. Congratulations to the girls on their season. Our boys baseball team fell short to number 1 ranked Wright City this past weekend at regionals. Rain moved the games around on Friday and Saturday. Congratulations to our baseball team on the successful season. Now on to the state track meet today. Our 2-mile relay, Jesse and Mallory, Foster Anderson, Carson Bowles, and Sophia Davis, and Sterling McClain throwing the discus will compete for a state title. Good luck, tracksters. Our Comet boys golf team will be competing at the state tournament on Monday and Tuesday at Enid. We will let you know how it turns out on our last episode. Good luck to Velma Jr. Landon Swisher as he travels to Massachusetts to compete in the 2025 USA Powerlifting World Championship this weekend. And finally, even though it's almost summer, basketball is just around the corner. The Little Comets Hoop Camp is coming up June 2nd. For info, get in contact with Coach Bear. That's a look at your week of Comet Sports. Now back to you in the studio.
That's all the time we have for this episode of the Comet Weekly. Thank you for joining us.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our Facebook page and TikTok page. And please, feel free to spread the word about us.
Check out our Comet News Live every weekday on our Comet News Network Facebook page. Every day we're in school at around 1 p.m. for your daily Velma Elma news. Reminder that we have one more show that will be out on Monday, May 19th. It's a grand final to be sure you tune in. Until then, I'm Hadley Bartling.
And I'm Maine Chandler. Ka-chow. Can you not?